Hi everyone, welcome back. Today in our DBT we carried on it was like on the second half of what we was doing last week, and it was like looking at how friendships and relationships last longer when we're mindful. And this week we were looking at how you can improve relationships with other people we were looking at the describe and participate part of mindfulness. So the first part of describing is, when you see other people, like, kind of not being judgy. So if you were in a group and someone's not talking much, instead of being like, oh, they're a bit standoffish, they're a bit, rude, just replace that with describing, just be like, they're not talking much. And that way you're not telling yourself why, because you're not assuming or interpreting that. In reality, they might just be a quiet person. They might be anxious. You know what? They might be rude, but you don't know that until you actually check the facts. The other one describing is trying to avoid questioning other people's motives unless you have a good reason to do so. So if someone tries to do something nice, you're not kind of like, well, why are you doing that? What do you want? What do you want? Sometimes you might have to, if it's a person you have a history of being manipulated or something like that. But generally it's about looking and not assuming the worst with people. Giving the others the benefit of the doubt. If they want to do something, if their motive is just to be nice, then let them just be nice. And to participate is, to be mindful is to kind of go with the flow rather than trying to control the flow of conversations. So with the mindfulness, we did a task where we were in pairs and we stand up and you put your kind of back to each other, and then it was just to kind of talk about what you'd done that morning. And so going with the flow is, it's responding to what's actually happening. So when we were given the topic, talk about what you did this morning, you automatically go, well, I did this and I did that, and you kind of plan what you want to say. But going with the flow, it was about not dropping those plans sometimes and just responding to other things that have been said. So that was interesting. I think I'm pretty alright at doing that. But rather than trying to control the flow as well, that's not just about just choosing the topic of conversation. It's also be mindful, letting other people have their turns, letting people talk about what they want and things like that. And then we didn't do this one actually in class, did it kind of outside, but it's about identifying the mindfulness of others, and it's just little thoughts. So if you're hurt by someone, you a natural response could be, I know you hate me, there's no other reason for what you did, you obviously don't like me. That might be your initial response, but a more mindfulness one would be, kind of saying, my feelings are really hurt by what you did, and the thought that went through my mind is that you hate me. I know that you don't really, but did you feel that way at the time? And it's about, it sounds a bit long-winded, but it's about kind of checking the facts. You're not assuming the motive, things like that, which, as I say every week, on paper they sound very obvious, but in reality they are actually really quite hard. And then like the last part we did was, because we're coming like to the end of the module, we did a bit on like how to end relationships. We were talking like about the difference between a destructive relationship, and that's one where you kind of lose your sense of self, and has a quality destroying or completely spoiling like parts of yourself, such as your physical body, your self-esteem, like, you know, just your happiness. And that's comparing it to like an interfering relationship, and that's one that kind of blocks or, you know, really makes it difficult to pursue goals that are important to you. It interferes with your ability to just enjoy life, and also like it interferes with your relationships with other people as well. So yeah, there's different, you know, because there's different types, because like, you know, there's always bad relationships, but it's like, there's kind of two intensities on that. I didn't feel like actually so this is where I changed my mind about things. Like during the session I was like, I ain't in relationships, I don't feel that applies to me, but then I'm thinking back and all the friendships and relationships that I've ended is because I've done kind of things impulsively and definitely in emotion mind, where I've just gone, sod this, I'm off, bye, you're the worst person ever, try. So yeah, it's just going through like different. If you were wanting to end a relationship or friendship, you know, things you should think about, you know, deciding, you know, to use your wise mind, you know, sort of you weighing up the pros and cons, you're taking all things into consideration, being aware that if the relationship is important to you and it's not destructive or interfering, you know, try problem solving to actually repair the relationship. It's about remembering, you know, all relationships do need working on, and not just, you know, throwing the towel in after one little problem, which actually when I look through my diary sheet is what I do a lot of the time. You know, sort of planning ahead, using your interpersonal skills, and obviously practicing safety first. So, you know, there is a bit, you know, if you are in danger, if it is abusive or anything, you know, make sure you ask for the help that you need from professionals. 2 seconds. But yeah, so it was coming up to the end. So that was coming up to like the end of the interpersonal effectiveness module. And it was, you know, as I said, it's like kind of the summary of, you know, how you kind of interact with other people, and, you know, different skills to be able to do that better. And I think it was the module I was looking forward to the most, because that's where most of my issues come, like interacting with others and getting my point across and being able to listen to other people's points of view. But yeah, it was really interesting, and it was also nice to kind of get actually feedback from a partner, where he said, like, in the last couple of weeks he has noticed, you know, when there has been a problem, I don't just jump straight onto the attack anymore. There will be times where he said he'll notice I am thinking about something, and there are some things that I now just go, you know what, it's not worth it. So that's interesting, and looking forward to next week where we start a new module. Thank you.